Hello guys, hope you're really well. Today we're going to be talking about the final week of Arsenal's transfer window. Who is likely to go where in the 7 days that remain of the summer? It has been a really impressive transfer window from Arsenal, I think, in terms of their incoming business. Declan Rice, obviously a huge marquee signing. The acquisition of Kai Havertz was made very deliberately for a very specific role in the team. We're yet to really reap the benefits of that one, but going to be fascinating to see how it plans out. And Jurrien Timber, I think, was one of the signings of the summer, and to be honest, looked like it in pre-season and in the Community Shield. What a blow it's been to lose him to injury, a serious injury with the ACL. David Raya, let's not forget as well, coming in on loan to compete with Aaron Ramsdale. But the sales side of things was always going to be a big topic. At some point, Arsenal needed to redress the balance. At some point, they needed to recoup some cash. And what we're going to be focusing on today is who is likely to go where in what remains of the window. We've seen a number of players leave the club already, the likes of Granit Xhaka, Pablo Mari, Matt Turner. But there's still a lot of players looking to move on who aren't being included in the sort of first team training sessions, looking to get that opportunity to play regularly elsewhere. Let's have a look at what's going to happen to them. So the two big deals that everyone's talking about at the moment revolve around Kieran Tierney and Flo Balogun. Kieran Tierney looks like he's going to be headed to Real Sociedad on loan. Arsenal entered the window hoping to recoup a sizable fee for Tierney, but that's not really come to pass, and it looks like they're going to have to accept this loan deal from Sociedad, which comes with a loan fee and with his salary covered, but without an option, either an option or an obligation. That may not be the worst thing. I doubt very much that Sociedad can afford the kind of price that Arsenal would expect for Kieran Tierney. He signed a new long-term deal, I think, 2 summers ago, 2021. He's got another few years to run on that, maybe 3 years remaining on his contract. So Arsenal are in a strong position here. They can afford to let Kieran Tierney go to Spain, play a season there, hopefully qualify with Scotland for the Euros. They're in a great position in their group, get a showcase tournament next summer to show his talents, and attract some Premier League bidders. That's what this needs, Premier League bidders. Why haven't a Premier League come in at the appropriate price? I think a few factors. I think injuries are an issue for Tierney, and whether or not that's fair, unfortunately, that is his reputation. I think the fashion for the inverted fullback, the more kind of cultured fullback, has worked against Tierney. A lot of teams playing in that style now, and it doesn't necessarily suit him the most. He's more of an overlap guy. I think they're probably the primary factors, but a loan to Sociedad, it's a fresh start for him, an opportunity to play, crucially, and hopefully for Arsenal to be able to recoup some money on him next summer. Arsenal are going to have to park that one for now. As for Balogun, well, it sounds like the total deal might be worth up to about 45 million euros. I think for a 22-year-old striker, he's only really had one decent season. That's a very fair fee. Monaco are the club that he's agreed, I think, a 5-year contract with. I think Arsenal will look upon this as a success. I know a lot of people, me included, wanted to see what Balogun might add to the Arsenal first team, but when you're offered the opportunity to make that money on a player who's barely kicked a competitive ball for you, I think you probably have to take it, especially when you've spent the kind of money Arsenal have this summer. You know, sooner or later you're going to run into FFP problems, and we are a club that at least tries to abide by those rules. I'm intrigued to see how he gets on. I'm glad he's not going to another Premier League team. I think the certainty of him scoring against us twice a season would have been a bit much for me. Hopefully, the one thing I do hope is that Arsenal put some mitigation in the deal. They've put some sort of clause, if he comes back to England, either a sell-on, a first option, ideally both, something like that, just to offer us a little bit of protection. But it looks like those deals are going to happen. Going through the squad by position now, goalkeeper, well, we've got Raya, we've got Ramsdale, Runarsson has gone out on loan, and then that leaves Karl Hein and Arthur Okonkwo, who are both listed on that first team page. The expectation was that Okonkwo would leave the club permanently. I'm not sure a club has yet made an offer that's to Arsenal's liking. I think the likelihood is he is still the one to go out. That'll be disappointing for Karl Hein in a way. I know you think, well, being third choice at Arsenal, it's not too bad, not too shabby, but he is a player who has been looking to go back on loan, you know, and get that first team experience. Arsenal needs someone behind Raya and Ramsdale in case of an injury, and it looks like they may have to say to Hein, look, sorry mate, you've got to stick around, you've got to stick on the bench. Maybe not. Maybe they'll decide to give Hein what they promised him, a loan deal, and keep Okonkwo and wait for a buyer to come in from in future. Either way, one, I think, will go out. There just isn't opportunity for both of them within the squad. To be honest, there's barely opportunity for one of them. One of them will be made to stay as cover, and the other will be allowed to go. At this stage, I'm going to say on loan. Defenders, well, Nuno Tavares isn't getting a look in at Arsenal. I mean, look how many left backs we've got, even with Timber out. Zinchenko back now, Tommy Yasu potentially, Kivior, Kieran Tierney's being allowed to leave. I don't think Tavares has got any chance of serious involvement with the Arsenal squad next season. I don't think he's a Mikel Arteta player in terms of style or personality, really. And I think he'll go. He turned down a permanent deal to Nottingham Forest, which I'll be honest, I found frustrating because they were apparently prepared to pay about £13 million, which would be sizable profit, about 50%, no, maybe more than that, 100% almost profit on what Arsenal paid for Nuno Tavares. That would have been great. But Forest, he didn't fancy it. Maybe he wants to return to the Mediterranean, maybe Portugal, maybe Spain. There's been some talk of some other interest in the Premier League, potentially in a loan deal. I'm going to say he goes on a loan deal. Arsenal have still got a bit of wiggle room in terms of the contract, and I think they may be prepared to let him go on loan. I just don't see there's any point keeping him around. Rob Holding, he's another who's training on his own at the moment. I think Rob Holding will go. I think he'll get his move. From what I've heard, he wants to go and play elsewhere. He's prepared to play abroad, try something new, experience a new culture. I think the club will do what they can to facilitate things for Rob. I think they'll try and give him that chance to go and play. He's very well liked. He's been a great servant. So I think he'll go, and I think it will be permanent. I think he's at a point where a loan's kind of no good to him. He's at an age where he wants a bit more certainty than that. I'll say that he'll move permanently abroad. Listen, I would like him to go to a Premier League club. We can probably get more money out of that, but I think he'll go abroad, certainly for a lot more than the, what was it, £2 million or something that was being offered from Turkey a few months ago. I'd like to see Arsenal getting substantially more than that. At least 5 million, really, to let Rob Holding go permanently. He's a decent player, even if he's not at the level that Mikel Arteta might demand at this stage. In midfield, well, I think Albert Sambi Lokonga will go. Burnley have been interested all summer long. They've been looking at it, trying to assess whether they would want to do a permanent deal or a loan deal. I think he will go. I think it could be Burnley, it could be Brighton, it could be France. My gut says it's going to be another loan. I just think we've got to this stage of the window carrying this extra weight in terms of squad players. I think buying clubs know that, and I think they might try and, drive us down and see if we'll do a loan instead of a permanent. Again, as with Tavares, we've got a little bit of wiggle room in terms of the contract. Maybe with some of these loans, we should do what Brentford did with David Raya and say, okay, we'll let you go on loan, but you've got to sign a 1-year extension just to give us that bit more protection. I think that would be quite smart. Arsenal do quite a lot of smart things these days. Let's hope they can persuade the players to do that. I think it seems like a fair thing that gives Arsenal a bit more security. And I think that's probably it. I think that's probably it for outgoings. A few academy players will go out on loan, but I'm not expecting any big surprises. That means no Gabriel to Saudi Arabia, thank goodness. No late Aston Villa bid for Emile Smith-Rowe. No Italian clubs pinching Jorginho off us right at the death. We need Jorginho. He showed that against Crystal Palace. An ideal player to bring on in a situation like that where you need to keep a lead, keep cool heads. Can't think of many players better. I think everyone else will stay. I don't think Reece Nelson will go anywhere. I don't think Jakub Kivior will be loaned out, which a few people have been asking me about. I think that'll be it. I think that will bring the numbers down to a manageable level and give Arteta a group where he really trusts everyone. Oh, I haven't mentioned someone. I skipped over them in defenders, and it's quite deliberate. Cedric Suarez. I think he'll still be here. I may be wrong. I don't think there's going to be a huge amount of interest. I don't think there are going to be many buyers. He had a really disappointing loan at Fulham, and he was quite determined to come back to Arsenal after that. I just think with the Jurrien Timber injury, given that Timber is principally a right back, given that We have Ben White and Tomiyasu, but both Ben White and Tomiyasu get used in other positions as well, centre back and left back. I think Mikel Arteta might make his peace with keeping Cedric Soares around. Will he even get on the pitch? I don't know. But I've just got an inkling that given he can play right back, given he can play left back, given he's experienced, and in a crisis he would give you that depth in terms of numbers, and given that we're not going to be fending off big money offers for him, I've got a feeling he'll still be here. Don't know, guys, what do you think? Let us know in the comments below. I say us, it's just me. Let me know. I will catch up with you all soon. Do subscribe for more of these videos. I'm going to be doing one tomorrow from the Fulham game. Very excited for that. And yeah, I'll speak to you all soon. Take care. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.